Let's talk about the 6 ways to ruin your Amazon FBA business before you even get off the ground running. Now, I know I'm not in my usual spot. We're traveling for the next couple weeks here, but I still want to get this video out to you guys because I've seen too many questions on these kind of things. And I just want to dive deep into it today and go over the 6 most common reasons why I see people really not even get off the ground running, but even if they do, quit so early on because of these little things that they're not implementing. And I'm going to give you action steps for every single one of these different things to make sure that you do today. This isn't for like a month. This is like things you can do today, right after this, to really set you up for success on Amazon. So the number one thing that I see people struggling with right off the bat is they're waiting for confidence before starting. So now this is obviously a huge thing because you continue to wait. You're never going to build that confidence until you actually do the thing that you're scared of or stressed about, right? There's just no way to do it without actually taking some action there. So, right, this is very equivalent to maybe waiting to get in shape or stronger before even hitting the gym, right? Obviously, we both know that if you're never going to go to the gym, you're never going to get strong, you're never going to get in shape, right? You need to do that first before you're able to see the results and build more confidence to go to the gym more consistently, okay? Amazon is the exact same way. It's not just going to come to you right off the bat. You're going to have to do the things in order to build that confidence. So yeah, if you're waiting for that confidence to come to you before starting, it's never going to be there. I guarantee you. Again, one way to build confidence is through taking action, kind of just how I mentioned. It's sitting down, buying some softwares, and trying to source, going through some of my videos, and learning those methods of sourcing and getting better at it because it really is a skill at the end of the day. So here's my action steps for you today. Okay, get SellerAmp, get Keepa. These are the two tools that you're going to need right off the bat. If you can get these and be somewhat invested into the business, you're going to be kind of forced to take those steps. And then I promise you, you're going to start building that confidence as you kind of begin to continue down this Amazon journey that you're going to be on. So that's the number one thing, as number one for why people ruin their business. And this isn't really ruining your business. This is more so not even starting your business, which is going to keep you in the same spot you're in, right? You want to start a business, you want some additional income, you want to replace your full-time job, you want some additional side income. You're going to need to eventually do this, and this is the one thing that a lot of people struggle with. So number two here, we got over leveraging with credit really early on. So I actually made this mistake myself. Now, luckily for me, it worked out really well, but I know people that did this and they really got screwed out of it. People are paying back credit cards and with inventory that they're unable to move through. So this happens all too often, and this is why this is one of the huge reasons why so many people end up failing and just really screwing themselves up financially because they over leverage with credit way too early on. So a lot of people, when they're getting going, right, I need more capital to start, which is true. If you haven't seen my video on this, it'll run you through exactly how much capital you need to make 100K. I'll link it down below if I remember after this video. But look, ideally 2K is good to start for that first month for some initial inventory to get that proof of concept. And honestly, 1K is enough to get that proof of concept, but ideally you want to start with about $2,000. Now, I wouldn't just go crazy right off the bat, right? If you get a business loan or whatever and you have like 50K to spend, like obviously don't just go and buy a bunch of random items without first testing these out, because that's where a lot of people will go into issues, right? They buy a product that they get on for a really good deal, so they go crazy on it without testing it, and then they get a cease and desist, they get an IP, the listing gets just wrecked and tanked because everyone else got the same deal. And this is why I stress the importance of testing and then using credit eventually to scale once you have proof of concept and you understand this business inside and out. Only that is when it makes sense, right? This is comparable to giving a 16-year-old kid that just got their attempts a Lamborghini before they've even learned to drive on anything, right? It can be done, but it's way too risky, right? Again, like I said, for me, I guess I was that kid that got the Lambo at 16 because I went crazy right off the bat. Don't recommend it. I mean, I guess I kind of played it smart because like by month 3, 4 is when I really started to dump more capital into it and just use credit to do so. I didn't have cash to back it at the time. I was going crazy, but I did kind of test the waters. I only sold products and I only went deep on products that I was very confident in. And I also went very wide in my catalog. So I guess I did play a little bit safe. But again, this is extremely risky. It's probably going to be fine, but it's also could just blow up in your face. All right, so be very careful as you begin to introduce credit into your business. Make sure you understand everything, right? This is why it's so important to scale with business credit only after you understand the business inside and out and you've tested items and you've gone very wide. Okay, like I'm talking $100 to $300 test orders per item you find. Don't even think about dropping 3, 4, 5K on one item that you find from some random sketchy Telegram supplier. Okay, you're gonna get burned. I'm telling you, you're gonna get burned. You're gonna lose that money. It's gonna be gone forever. So be extra careful. Okay. Some action steps for you today. Okay, buy your first auto-approved product. Okay, buy a test unit of it, buy like 10 to 15 units. If you need some brands to go and get auto approvals in, go look at like brands that are carried in like big retailers. So like Members Mark, Goodfellow, things like that. You know, in those less risky categories like your grocery, like clothing, right? Those are risky categories that you can go into that are not risky, and just buy some units of and send them in. Start kind of getting the ball rolling there. Just use your own personal cash, okay? I would not go too crazy with business credit right off the bat. And number three, we have one-off efforts with zero habits, okay? This happens literally to probably 9 out of 10 people that want to start businesses. Is like they get an idea, they do it once, they go crazy for like a week or a couple days, and then they don't form a habit behind it because they kind of overdo it, they burn out, and then, yeah, they just never actually see true progress, right? This is like someone that will sit down and say, yeah, I sourced for 10 hours last week, but since then I haven't had any time, so I've only dedicated this to it, and they haven't formed the habit. They've just kind of like formed a hatred towards Amazon because they've just done it for 10 hours straight, and then they just get super, super burnt out of it. Obviously, that's not very sustainable, of course, and we want sustainability here, right? That's like cramming a month's worth of the gym, going back to the gym, into one day, okay? You're gonna get burned out, and you're gonna make virtually zero progress. Actually, if you were to do this in real life, if you were to skip 2 weeks of the gym and try and squeeze those 2 weeks into one workout, obviously we know your muscles aren't going to recover in time and you're going to make zero progress. If anything, you're going to do more damage than any progress. You can look at Amazon the exact same way. I'm telling you guys, been doing this for so long, and when I started out, having like a habit of just daily sourcing and daily being immersed into Amazon is what really, really skyrocketed my success. And that's why I was able to do 130K revenue by my 9th month. That's why I was already making 5,000 in profit by month 4, is because I made it a daily habit. I did this thing every single day. This thing can explode, but only if you're able to commit consistent efforts into it on a daily basis. Okay, here's your action step for today. Okay, figure out how much capital you want to start with. Let's say you want to start with $3,000. Okay, that's $100 a day on inventory. Just break it up into a month. It's the easiest way. I've had messages on my Instagram from people telling me that this, like just doing this, it sounds really stupid, but it's actually worked. Because guys, like this is an easy way to control your revenue, is controlling your spend. That's the only way that you're gonna get to 10K months, to 15K, 20K months, is by your inputs, which comes down to spend. And this is the one habit that you need to form, you need to do, and I promise you, you will be successful in it. But if you don't do this, I guarantee you it's the quickest way to ruin your business, at least one of the 6 quickest ways to ruin your business before it even gets off the ground running. Okay, this next one here is huge, and it's allowing outside noise to knock you off your tracks. Guys, like this happens to every business, anybody that wants to get into business. Doesn't matter how old you are, you're always gonna have people that judge you, or you're gonna see different things, horror stories from people that don't actually tell you the full story behind it, and it's gonna sketch you out and it might knock you off your track. I know this did this for me in other businesses that I've tried earlier on in my I guess entrepreneurial journey. Luckily for Amazon, I'm gonna give you some action steps that you can do that I did myself that really helped me stay on track. But yeah, this is like hearing someone say that Amazon is dead and impossible to start. How many times have you heard this? I mean, look, I heard this back in 2017 when I wanted to get into private label when I turned 18. I heard the same thing back then, and I still hear it to this day. Is Amazon getting harder? Is it trickier? Is there different ways to navigate it? Of course there is. It's always adapting. It's completely different than it was last year. It's completely different than it was 10 years ago, but does not mean it's impossible. Obviously, there's plenty of people that are able to do this. And if you allow someone else's opinion to knock you off like this, then obviously it's going to be impossible because you're never going to actually get off the ground and get it going. This is like taking business advice from someone who has never even made a profit from their business or even started a business, right? This is like the age-old people, right? That your business degree. Let's say you're going to college for whatever it is for business, and you're being taught by someone who's only been a teacher their whole life, who's never actually run their own business, right? It's like this information is clearly outdated. Right? Business is always evolving, and that's probably why everyone says business degrees are a complete waste of time. And honestly, I agree. I mean, things change all the time. This business is completely different from any other business you would start. So like, yeah, the fundamentals might carry over, but at the end of the day, you can learn the business on your own. And again, like it's just taking, information and taking advice from people that just haven't actually done it successfully, or people that have not even tried because they've been too scared. Okay, don't let them discourage you because they just think that you're on the same level as them, right? If you're starting your own business, you're making your own money on your own. You should not be listening to people that have never even attempted to do something like this, because it's a whole different beast. It's completely different, And it's a different, you need to have a completely different perspective than someone that just is okay with working like a standard job. Like that sounds kind of like bad in me saying that, but it's completely true, right? You're gonna have family members that might not agree with you. I'll tell you, same thing for me. Like when I was getting started, like I was judged by family members, by friends, by literally everybody. And that's what you're gonna have to go through if you want to actually make this work out. You're gonna have complainers on Amazon forums. Guys, just do me a favor, never even check out any of the Amazon forums. I'm telling you, like it's just people that are fear mongering, trying to scare you. Everything I've seen there whenever I've had an issue has been completely wrong and just things that have freaked me out for zero reason. Right? You're gonna hear horror stories, especially on platforms like Twitter, with people that are wanting you to do their private label or do whatever whatever they want to sell you. It's like, hey, like this doesn't work anymore, it's too scary, or people that have done it and then have only been tied to like one brand and then that brand gets regated and then they tell you that Amazon's dead, and it's like, no, you just didn't systemize the process and you didn't give yourself any room for cushion in case something went wrong. And then like of course they got screwed out of it, but it's because they had a really bad system set up from the start. Like they didn't have that longevity and they weren't able to evolve. Right? You're gonna have people that tell you these stories, and 9 out of 10 times it's because they made the mistake of not setting up the proper systems, or it's because they're hiding something from their horror story of getting shut down, right? Like buying from a sketchy Telegram supplier or buying from overseas. And they're not going to obviously tell us that. They're just going to tell us how Amazon was mean and they shut their account down. And again, I'm telling you, I worked with so many students, and at this point now, I've seen at least 15 or 18 different Section 3s come through, and every single one of them were able to get their accounts back because they're buying from legit retailers. Okay, online arbitrage is very much allowed, but you can get screwed out and you can get your account shut down if you are buying from really sketchy spots. So just make sure you're always keeping that in tight and you're actually you're paying attention to that, and just don't allow outside noise to knock you off your tracks. Okay, here's some action steps, right? This is what really worked for me. For my Amazon business is like, look, move in silence. Like, stop telling everyone about your business. If you're starting an Amazon business and you're just starting out, don't go tell like everybody at the gym or all your buddies or your parents, like your family. Don't go tell them because they're gonna judge you and they're gonna look down on you. Just keep it to yourself. Let your progress and success speak for itself. Before I did Amazon, I told everybody about my business. I was like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm gonna start a private label. I'm gonna drop ship. Look at my website. I set it up. It looks so cool. It looks so sweet. And those never worked out, right? I was like saying I'm successful before I even was. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but people will tell you the same thing. It's like the people that are really successful with this just keep it quiet. They keep it to themselves, and they're able to progress on their own like that. Just try it. If you've tried businesses in the past that have failed, and you haven't kept it to yourself, I'm telling you, try this when you go about starting an Amazon business. I really think it's gonna help. Then a bonus tip for you guys as an action step is like, look, DM a successful seller that you know, ask them what's working today. Because I guarantee you strategies today are a little bit different than they were a couple years ago, right? A lot of information on Amazon's outdated. If you look at a video from a year ago, it's probably not relevant to what's happening today. And that's why I like making these videos, keeping everyone informed and up to date with like what's actually going on in the space, with my Amazon business and with the students I work with, because things are always changing, okay? That's why my videos are very bland and just like cutthroat to the point. Like, here's what's going on. This is what's happening, right? Because the sourcing method of last year is not the same one of this year. And just to highlight this hard, right? Melissa's a student of mine. She's been with me for quite some time, and she's doing about 2K days now consistently. Like, she's on pace to crush 60K revenue months. Imagine if she let the outside noise get to her. Okay, she's gone through 3 Section 3s. She beat all of them. She was about to give up at one point, didn't. She pushed through it. And imagine if she would have let everyone else's, like, Amazon's dead, or you can't get your account back after Section 3, or like always not possible. Imagine where she'd be at right now if she listened to those people, right? She wouldn't have a business. She does this full time. She wouldn't be able to if she listened to those people. And if you want to hear her story more, I do have a video I made with her a couple months ago where she discusses this whole process of getting that Section 3. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen that, to go check it out so you can see her perspective on it. But just wanted to highlight that huge win for her, how she's now been able to scale up and doing about 60K months, taking home a ton of money from her Amazon business that she's been pursuing for such a long time now and consistently doing. And this is what's possible on the other side of it, as long as you don't let others, just get you down, right? This is like a huge thing. And that's not just for Amazon, it's literally for any business that you want to get into. All right, number 5 is blaming external factors instead of owning it. This kind of goes into number 4, right? It's like blaming Amazon fees or new policies that come into play, like returns, listings tanking, websites raising the prices. Guys, these are things that everyone's gonna have to deal with. It's not just you. So every business is constantly evolving around this, including Amazon businesses, right? Like if our fees go up, that means that your fees went up. That means that this other seller's fees went up, so we're gonna have to naturally increase our prices if we want to continue to compete on it, right? If now we have inbound placement fees, right? This came into play maybe about a year ago now. That was another thing we had to deal with. Like, what was the fix? Well, the fix at the time was using 2D workflow, getting around it, using optimized shipping, it's staying in the loop, and we were able to get a bunch of savings there. Now that no longer really works, now the biggest way to save money is by sending lots of inventory in using optimized shipping. So that's what we do, right? It's constantly evolving, but if you stick to like the old ways, then yeah, you're gonna be left behind, right? So just own it, stay immersed in the business, and you're not going to be running into those issues, right? And the last thing that ruins Amazon sellers is not being fully committed to this process, right? It's not being fully committed to it. Maybe you've been researching this for months. Like, you've probably spent 10 plus, 20 plus hours just researching it, wasting your precious time on research instead of just getting in the business and buying your first item, right? Like, it's pretty much equivalent to swimming halfway across the ocean. Like, you're by yourself. You want to do this thing, so like you do all this research, you're going, and then you get stuck here, and you've literally made zero progress, and you're stuck. It's literally the same exact thing as that when you're not fully committed to it. And I'm telling you, you will fail every single time until you decide that this is the thing you want to pursue and you give it your all. Okay, because let me tell you straight up. Let me tell you something that other people that talk about Amazon online aren't going to tell you. Okay, Amazon is not easy. But in all reality, there is no such thing as an easy business model out there. And if there is, then it's very, very low earning potential, or it's very, very short term. Okay, like people are saying TikTok shop is like the new easy thing. I don't hear anyone talk about it as much anymore, right? It's kind of like at that point where it was like really hot, and it still wasn't easy, but it's kind of like phased out now. Whereas Amazon's still consistently printing. It's just the only people that are successful with this long term have a system behind it, and that's what my videos on here are kind of dedicated towards, is to show you these systems that I implement myself and that I help other students implement. And it's like, once you can do this, you can have long-term sustainability in your business, right? You can sell it on the platform for years, not just a couple months, make a little bit of money. We're talking about years, produce full-time income, consistently cash flow with the proper systems in place. And there's so many people online that are testament to this, that do this exact same thing. So of course, Amazon is not dead. And those people that are able to do that were fully committed to it and fully immersed inside the business. So your action steps for today. And again, this is a huge thing that really helped me. Again, like, this is what I did the first, probably I still do to this day actually, with things that I'm interested in. But I really started doing this like month 2 of starting Amazon. Is I swapped out any music when I drove to the gym, or it doesn't matter where I was going. I literally subbed it for long form. So like any podcasts, any YouTube videos. My YouTube videos are pretty long here. Like, if there's some you missed, like, look, seriously, just like, you don't need to look at visuals here. You can just put it on the background, listen, and start to immerse yourself with strategies, tactics, ways to better yourself. And when you're fully immersed in the business, you are going to be successful no matter what. And you're doing more than your competitors are. And there's no way you're not going to win if you stick with it and you're fully committed to it. And this is an easy way to force yourself to stick with it. Is it a little bit less fun than just listening to music or whatever else you do in the car? I mean, maybe in the beginning, but once you really start to enjoy Amazon because you see that it works and you get the proof of concept, I guarantee you're going to like doing it. And now, like, I literally just listen to podcasts or videos. Like, that's all I do. And I feel like I'm constantly taking in new information at a much higher level and pace than all my competitors are, or the ones that aren't doing it at the very least. So yeah, these are 6 things that, they're just actionable things that you can take. Like, we didn't really get into like the nitty gritty, like Amazon, like here's how to source stuff. I have so many videos on that. So check out my page if you want to see those. This is more so for you. If you just feel really stuck and you need, like, I guarantee you it's one of these 6 things that are probably holding you up. I did mention earlier, but I do have a one-to-one mentorship program. That's where I help my students on a completely one-to-one basis. Like, we find products, source, best strategies, all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, that mentorship is only going to work for you if you are fully committed to it and you realize that this is something that you're going to have to spend at least an hour to 2 a day on, of sourcing and learning, at least for the first couple months, to build up. If you can't commit that kind of time to it and you want a cheat code, like shortcut thing that doesn't exist and you're never going to find anywhere ever, then this is not for you. But if you are ready to work and you want proven strategies, you're ready to get going with this and really scale up, there's a link down below, booking a call, run you through what that looks like. And I can promise you that if you're willing to commit to it, I'll commit to you and we will scale up your Amazon store together. If you have any other questions, let me know down below. We're traveling for the next 2 weeks, so next week's video might be a little late. But if you guys need anything, shoot me a DM over on my Instagram or comment down below, and we'll talk soon. Take care.